This is a critical time period for your Chicago Cubs in 2025. Why? We're less than 10 days away from the trade deadline. What are they going to do? How big of a prospect package will they move? Will they push all of their chips in, Kevin? How will this unfold?
I don't think we've ever really seen, especially in the last 15 years, pushing all of your chips in, right?
Yeah, you can't give up the whole farm.
And it's rare that we see top 100 prospects traded. Now, it happens mostly every year, but not often are you going to see top 50 guys moved, and the data kind of backs that up. If you go and look up Baseball America, they talk about how if you look at the last 10 years of data, there are specific prospects who are moved in that 20 to 30 range, sometimes 20 to 50 range. But hardly ever are you seeing top 10 guys in baseball move. Now, do the Cubs have a top 10 guy to trade? No, they don't. Do they have a top 20 guy to trade? No. But Owen Caissie's name keeps popping up. He's the 39th ranked prospect in baseball. He's the top prospect in baseball. It's possible he gets moved. Moises Ballesteros is the other top 50 prospect that the Cubs tout right now. Now, is it possible one of those guys gets moved? Yeah, for sure. It can happen. I'm just saying it's rare. It's rare that these guys are moved. And the Cubs are not going to, quote-unquote, gut their farm system. There's a lot of talk online about that right now. Jed is not going to gut the farm system. If you trade one top 100 guy, sure. But it's really rare that they would do one in general, and it's rare that you would see two moved at the same deadline.
But the Cubs have done it before.
Certainly, yeah.
They have done it before. They showed you they were willing to trade Eloy. In fact, they had guys in their system, whether it was Torres or Eloy, that they knew they were always going to trade. Right?
Yeah, and it's funny, in the last 11 years, dating back to 2015, only two top 10 prospects in all of baseball have been traded. Both involve the Cubs. You just named one. Eloy Jimenez was a top 10 prospect in baseball. The other one came over to the Cubs the year before, 2014. Addison Russell.
Wow.
So it's almost like, and those are, obviously Eloy phased out, but for a time there had a two really good seasons with the White Sox. The reason you don't trade guys in the top 100 often, because we just saw James Wood get traded. We just saw C.J. Abrams get traded. We just saw Mackenzie Gore get traded. Like, all these high-end guys usually turn into something productive for a team for a while.
But that sort of proves my point is prospects are prospects. And if I can get proven players with pedigrees that are major league ball players, that's what I'm going for, especially in a year when I'm in the running for best record in Major League Baseball, when I've been this bad for several years, and now I can get back into the postseason. I've got to make a move when I've got a chance, right? And for every guy, for every Wood or Abrams or whoever you want to talk about, I mentioned Gleyber Torres, Eloy Jimenez, and you brought up Addison Russell.
Mm-hmm.
One of the three has had a good Major League career. Good, not great.
Right.
Right? Like,
yeah, the other,
you might have thought all three of those guys were untradeable. You look back on it now and you're like, who cares that Gleyber Torres was traded? Who cares that Eloy was traded?
Right.
And the A's are saying, who cares that Addison Russell was traded?
Right. They have good years, maybe not good careers. Sure. Maybe that's a good way of putting
Superstars.
It. Right?
What you're worried about trading away is a superstar.
Right.
You're worried about the possibility that you're trading away Tatis. You're worried, you're worried about one of those. You're worried that you're trading away Pete Crow Armstrong.
Right. But those are the trades that are more likely to happen, right?
Yes.
Because you're more likely to trade away the younger guys. I guarantee you when the Cubs are making trades, I would bet a top 100 guy goes. I would say one. If they do get a package for a nice top-end starting pitcher, I would bet one of the Cubs' top 100 guys goes in a trade. But the rest of these guys are going to be lower-tier guys in their top 30 maybe, prospect rankings, but they're not going to be the guys you consistently hear about. That's the whole point of this article. There's so much talk about trade Owen Caissie, get rid of him. Well, they might not have to do that, to get certain players. They're not really – those trades don't necessarily happen much. Looking at the numbers, 2021, 3 top 100 guys traded. 2022 was kind of an outlier. There was 8 top 100 guys traded. 2023, 3 top 100 guys. Last year, 0 top 100 guys traded at the trade deadline. 0.
Although we are hearing from a lot of the quote-unquote experts that this is a seller's market. And we know that the Yankees are going to be buying. And we know some of these other big market teams are going to be buying. And Jeff Passan just listed his top, trade targets out there. And I went through the list of players, and it's like the Cubs are on the possible teams for almost every guy he lists. So if you're going to be all in on some of these and you're going to be competing with other teams, you're definitely going to have to overpay. It's something we've heard Carter Hawkins even say. Right now, you'd be overpaying for that. That's understandable. You're going to have to probably pay this year. And if that's the case, do I want to see the farm system gutted? No, but I also don't want the Cubs to be afraid to make a move, because prospects are prospects. That doesn't mean I'm saying any specific player is someone I would trade or untouchable. I'm just saying, I want to see proven players at the major league level. I want guys that can help right now. You can't count on Owen Caissie being called up at the end of the season to be some superstar, extra outfielder, extra bat. You can't count. Look at the struggles you've had this year from Ben Brown, at times Matt Shaw, PCA a year ago. Just go back like a year and a half ago. It's not that easy to come up and make a major league impact right away. That's what the Cubs need right now.
Let me preface by saying I'm totally okay if they trade Owen Caissie for the right price.
I am too.
I think that is.
But it's got to be the right player.
I think that's totally a fair thing to say. I think it's totally fair to throw any of the Cubs' current prospects into the trade market, because they don't have a top 10 prospect in baseball. They don't have a top 20 prospect in baseball. For the most part, those guys don't get traded at all. It happens sometimes. They don't have one of those guys. Caissie is certainly not untouchable. There are no untouchables. The whole point of my argument here is they might not have to move him.
Okay.
They might not have to. It's rare that these guys get moved, unless, it is, we have heard, you're going to have to overpay. You always have to overpay for pitching. And with the way things have gone for the Cubs in the starting rotation the last 2 months, they need 2 starters. They're probably going to get into a bidding war. I know Jed hates bidding wars. We've heard him say it. But it's probably going to end up in a top 100 guy getting moved. Maybe 2. I said 1 earlier. I'll expand that to 2. But I don't see them gutting, quote-unquote, the farm system.
A lot of people believe Jed Hoyer was on the hot seat last offseason going into this year. He had a great offseason from the moves he's made so far. Now he has to have a great trade deadline. We'll see if it happens.